So I've been doing real estate for 21 years, a long time, 1,000 transactions, and I worked with people from 110 countries in real estate buying and selling, locally in Northern Virginia and DC, Maryland, and with my mom from 2005 around there. And basically, that's how I got into cash flow real estate. So basically, what it does, it finds you homes that cash flow 35 times better than others. Now, what is it? What does it mean? There's a concept called debt coverage ratio. DCR, debt coverage ratio, is the relationship between income and expenses. Income is rent. Expenses are PITI, principal, interest, tax, insurance, condo, HOA, and vacancy, property management, among other expenses. And basically, I just want to show off the dashboard. I've been working on this for 15 years. It's a fully functioning product, but I run it as a local instance. I don't upload it online at this time. So basically, it just tells you, for example, that there is a property in Front Royal or Reston or Manassas Park or McLean, and you can see the DCR. Now, for McLean, 1.3 is much better than 0.1. So 0.1 debt coverage ratio means you lose 90 cents on the dollar should you need to rent it out. So that's the situation with this dashboard. If we go to the detailed cash flow, it just breaks it down in terms of the pluses and minuses of all of the expenses, as you see here with the red and the green. And everybody can just visit zenaiautomation.com/CFRE, cash flow real estate, in order to study the dashboards a little bit more and to learn more about what this is. But here you can see a little bit more in detail about this year and year to date in terms of the progress and the return on investment calculation. That situation was 25% return on the money. And basically, this is just another dashboard just showing that the analysis rating is medium. CFRE AI score is 5 out of 10. There are ones that are 9 out of 10 with strong analysis rating and so forth. It's just based on the comps and how good and confident it is relative to that. Because sometimes instead of 8 properties analyzed over here, it'll be 30 properties analyzed. And it depends if it's in the same subdivision versus larger area. And basically, you can see the highest rent that was taken into account, average rent, median rent, and it just depends on the square footages and number of bedrooms, and it does the analysis. Now, how does it do that? It does that with polynomial regression machine learning. So that's what that is. And another thing that I want to highlight is distance to opportunity zone, 0.59 mile. So opportunity zones in US, there's about 3,000 of them, maybe slightly more now. But basically, it's areas where, like, on Route 1, Richmond Highway, for example, there are areas where they stimulate the economy and they say you don't have to pay, for example, commercial taxes on businesses that you build, or there's all kinds of incentives for the builders to build particular housing as well that deals with a little bit of affordable housing, right? And so forth and so forth. And that is what the opportunity zone is. And if you're located next to it, you're going to have growth. Why? Because remember, for example, in that area, there is a military base, and they built a hospital, and the hospital takes in 1 million patients a year. And so basically, that's going to stimulate the local area when you have a lot of things happening. And that's the point of being next to opportunity zone. So that's the calculation that it does for you as well in terms of that. And you can select in the search that you want to be within a mile, within 2 miles, within 5 miles, or within a particular distance, half a mile of a tax opportunity zone. And it should also do this, and it should also do that. So there's all kinds of filters. And so in this sector, in this section over here on the right, you can see that, for example, 0.62 debt coverage ratio and yearly cash flow minus 28,000, minus 27,000, right? And so that's the point. If it's 0.1, you're looking at even minus $650,000 a year. If you buy some property in McLean, it's just because the rent cash flow doesn't cover the opportunity cost of all the money that you are spending. So that is that about that. And you can also click on show inputs, show filters, preferences, and all of that. So it's quite good. Again, I worked on this for 15 years. And just to emphasize about it, it's actually on my LinkedIn profile. I dropped a link in the chat. Again, you can have properties that are 40% ROI cash flow nominal, positive, meaning that you also have $500 principal repayment schedule, additional on top of the nominal positive cash flow that you are getting. You're getting depreciation, driving your taxable income to the bottom. And then 10 years later, you have higher rent and higher price of the property because the government just prints money. Currently, the deficit of the government is at least $2 trillion a year. And it's 40 trillion already in terms of the debt. Unfunded liabilities are 200 trillion of the US government. And so what that means is that they're just going to print more money. And as they print more money, everything is going to go up in price because the money is not worth what it used to worth. So the eggs and the milk and potatoes, all of it goes up in price, right? As we see from our daily experiences. Furthermore, the good thing is that there is an exemption up to $28 million on step-up basis to heirs. So I live in Falls Church, Skyline, Bailey's Crossroads, Falls Church, Fairfax, and across the street there are single-family homes. In 1980, they used to be $80,000, and right now they're $800,000. Obviously, 40 years passed, but it's 10 times the amount. And the point about step-up basis to heirs is that they get it on step-up basis, meaning they pay zero taxes, and that's the exemption, 28 million for a married couple to the heirs. So a lot of people don't know the tax code. I took my time to read the entire IRS real estate subsections code. And if anybody's interested, basically, you can just visit the rest of my LinkedIn, click show all experiences, and I do a lot of things. And one of it is politics, which is what we're going to talk about, because I spent 10,000 hours studying derivatives, which is $1 quadrillion a year. Derivatives, equities, futures, all the paper together, financial instruments, they're $1,000 trillion. And the crazy thing is that U.S. economy is only 30 trillion. And so, for example, Russia's 2.5, Canada 2.5 trillion, India is 3.9 trillion with all its population, GDP, Pakistan 300 billion. And you take all these countries together, you can realize that the financial instruments and the paper, it's crazy much more like just 1,000 trillion. What is that? It's a huge number. It's much bigger than the regular economy of the countries. And so let's take a look at politic. Polymany tick blood-sucking insect.us is the name of the system platform. And basically, first, let's look at congressional disclosures. So you can see all the bonds and treasuries that they're buying. You can see all the stocks they're buying, ETFs they're buying, and so forth. We can type in, for example, Pelosi, any politician, and we're going to see that she purchased, recently Uber and Intel. When you click on the row, you can see that the low target for Intel is 45, average is 104, and high is 200. But the situation with Intel, actually, that's interesting, is that the government is the largest shareholder of Intel right now. And Intel has an extremely close partnership with SpaceX and Uber. I'm sorry, not Uber, Tesla. And basically, for the chips fabrication. And so they're going to be dominating. It's going to be US TSMC on the US shore. And that's why, they're not going to fail. They will succeed. And the facility they're building, Terafab, is $25 billion to start, and it's going to be bigger and more in the future because they're going to be doing the chips for the Teslas, chips for the Optimus robots, chips for the Starlinks, and chips for the XAI and so forth, memory and everything else, manufacturing. So obviously Nancy Pelosi is smart, right? She bought this, and it was 200 call options, which she spent like more than $1 million. And, the strike price was 50. So it's a year, basically. The expiration date is March 19, 2027. You can see it in the comments. And you can also see the actual execution of the trade here. So it's quite useful. So basically, this is congressional disclosures. We can also have the Senate disclosures. It's the Congress, Senate, similar thing. We're also going to have the Trump disclosures very soon. So executive branch too. And this is the analytics dashboard. Basically, let's click, for example, 365 days. And we can see how many politicians are going into the particular buys, right? Buys and sells. Sometimes they take profit. So not all the sells are the same because they just rotate. Because they had the gains, they take the profit, they go into something else. So not all sells are indicator of a bad situation happening or anything like that. But basically, you can see that Democrats in the last year traded 6,389 times and Republicans traded 4,900 times. If we look at the last 3 years, Democrats really outtrade the Republicans, which is very interesting to me personally. And there is an area where we can see, for example, in Intel, it was $53 million that was put in by Democrats and only 138,000 that was put in by Republicans into that stock. The way that's calculated is basically we take the median size of the amount that they're putting into a particular stock to calculate that. So if the trades are between 1 and 15,000 or 500,000 and a million, we use the median number between that to come up with the total amount, because we don't know exact amount of how much they spent in order to get into that position. So that's how that is done. And the leaderboard just tells you who is trading a lot. For example, Rokana traded 6,980 times, right? And if we click 365 days, it's 5,885 times, which is double the next person, right? And if we look at 1,095 days, then we can see the bigger number. And that's only buys, on this column. And then there is the sells. So the total number that he traded is 12,906 for the last 3 years, which is how is he doing what he's supposed to be doing, in the political work in terms of, governing and helping govern the United States when he's trading so much, which is just crazy, right? And you can see the volume bought, volume sold, median buy, median sell, in terms of the trades. And this is ARK Invest. Kathy Wood, she made thousands of percents in Tesla, and she was buying it at $7 back in the day, pre-split, because the Tesla split 1-15, and you can see all of her trades. So there is basically an overlay with ARK Invest, a hedge fund, and Motley Fool, and the politicians. So we can see, for example, that ARK Invest bought 2.7 million shares of Tempus AI, and Nancy Pelosi also bought Tempus AI. So it's a strong buy. And she bought it around $35. The peak for Tempus AI was $90, and the current price is $58 around. So basically, this is what it is. You can just scroll on it, and this is entire year's worth of information on the overlay filter. And you can, like, for example, look in the last 45 days, in the last 60 days, in the last 14 days, just like you can do with analytics, and see where they're going. And then basically you can see the ticker symbol, you can research it, think about it, and it can be very helpful. These are the holdings by Motley Fool. So Motley Fool at the peak, they were charging almost $15,000 for the premium subscription. They have 500,000 users that are paying them subscription fees a year. And so it's a huge, right, entity. And they do about 30 to 40% of all the news on Yahoo Finance in relationship to analysis on the stock market. But I personally don't really care what they say I should be buying, or what I should be selling, or reading their news. I care what they're actually holding inside their portfolio. And this is how we can know that there is 158 fools in NVIDIA. There is 136 fools in Shopify, or whatever the particular ticker is. And this is, I think, very useful, much more useful than paying for their subscription. You know what I mean? So basically, when you subscribe to Politic, you can invite friends and make money. This is what this page is about. And this page is about profitable trades. So for example, John Fetterman, he made 2,254%, 23.5 times return on WDC, Western Digital. And you can see the win page of who is doing what. Micron did really well, 1,600%. And you can see different politicians, how they're winning, where they're winning. You can see Micron appearing tons of times, but we can do 100 on the page and just scroll down and see the pages, and basically study the win page to give you confidence of what's going on. And it might be easier for you to click 180 days of what's been happening, right? Or a year of what's been happening. And you can see that they're doing 1,000% a year, for the year. This is our blog, and basically it's really good. You can just click on Trump Trades blog. It's a really good one, Nancy Pelosi, and so forth. So we're going to be having a lot of that informational material. And when you visit the pricing page, you can just go to the left and subscribe for free, completely for free. So you can create and have access to the entire dashboard for free, including all the gifts. So there is 140 songs that I made that teach you how to trade stocks and financial literacy. And there is books that are written, The Millionaire Trader, Secrets to Stocks, Options, Derivatives. And there is Mindset Affirmations and a life philosophy book that I wrote about life philosophy. So that is that. Basically, we covered pretty much everything except the executive summary. It just goes on in detail, talking about what Politic is about, who the competitors are, and what is what. In terms of competitors, they charge for the same information up to 200, and their layers are not as good. So what I say about Politic is that it's 4 times cheaper and 5 times better than Unusual Whales. And Unusual Whales has $30 million revenue a year. So that's the situation with Politic. I can also quickly like go through the pitch deck. I'm not gonna like read everything. I'm just gonna go through the overview. Because you have eyes, you can read it, you can see it. But basically, we are solving the problem of information asymmetry, because a lot of people are not aware of what politicians are doing, and we make it easy to access with a dashboard, unified dashboard, to see what is happening. And in the future, we're going to be adding insider trading by the C-level individuals inside corporations, because that would be also extremely helpful, because they always know the financial situation of the company, and so they schedule everything in a certain way to take advantage of the peaks and valleys in the stock market for their own company. And so basically, um, you know, who has any questions about either the real estate aspect of investing or the stock aspect of investing, guys?
This is great. We can open it up to questions for Carol. I've got a couple questions. So the Politic offering that you have, this platform, I think you mentioned on what I saw that you're also offering API access. What type of business model do you want to go after more? Is it more API, meaning other people are using your API, or do you want people to use your software from like the app perspective? Or is it the same subscription? Can you access both through the same subscription that you give?
So basically, we are targeting the regular users, and to them, API is over their head. The dashboard is really easy to utilize, and the subscription is only $15 a month. And if you pay for the year, you pay $150, and you pay for the price of 10 months, but you get 12 months. So you have 17% discount when you pay yearly. There's also coaching aspect that is available for hardcore people as well. But enterprise API is definitely available for those conversations when they come up, and it's case by case basis when that conversation happens.
Awesome, very cool. And I think you mentioned in the this product is definitely a SaaS product. Your CFRE product is the one that you do your own instance of it right now. Is that something that you're looking at in the roadmap to make it available also?
Yeah.
Online?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's available in Virginia, Maryland, DC, New Jersey, Delaware, Pennsylvania, West Virginia. I have a real estate license. 6 years ago, I got a mortgage license. So if anything, a team member from Fidelity Direct Mortgage would be originating the mortgage for that aspect, because I cannot double end on both sides of the transaction. But to make it available in all of US, the API is 100,000, and then we can analyze all of US. But right now, it's just 7 states coverage for the CashFlow real estate.
Gotcha. I mean, I think it's probably still valuable to people in those areas for sure. Very cool. And another thing was, when you built CFRE, the AI technology wasn't there from a software generation perspective, but now you have it in both cases for CFRE, but now I guess Politic you made more recently. When you're thinking about new releases or new improvements, obviously there's an angle in this case of there's actually intelligence improvement to make the different system, make your data smarter. But then there's just general improvements, feature improvements. What does that cycle look like for you right now with AI? And then maybe then we can segue into how else do you use AI in your business? But yeah.
We're using it for marketing, I would say, generating material and videos and social media posts, and managing all that. That's how we are using it. I was also thinking of integrating voice AI, because it's really simple, easy, and I know how to do it perfectly well. So just to answer questions from prospects about anything and everything that's available 24/7. So that's how we were thinking of like integrating AI. And there's one more thing in terms of like offerings and everything that is being done is ZenAIautomation.com parent company. It's like a holding company. So it's AI-powered digital marketing, intelligence web presence, chatbots. That like we have a chatbot on Politics, so you can ask any question to the chatbot. It's going to answer about the website, about the platform. And ZenAI Automation does custom Android apps. I have 100 coders relationships with that are under within ZenAI Automation family to work on apps and deliver results to the people who are interested. And basically, we are targeting the 35.5 million SMB, small, medium-sized businesses, even with twin avatar clones. So just cloning the face, cloning the voice, and putting out with perfect lip sync the material that you don't have to record yourself, but it's your likeness that does it with perfect lip sync in different languages to explain what avatars are. And trying to collaborate with startups to help them raise as well. And there's a couple of other offerings that are here. Like I have a music record label. So what I was mentioning about 140 songs about financial literacy and stock investing, the music that teaches you how to do that. So basically, that's that about ZenAI Automation. And sort of kind of teach what you preach or do what you preach. Is the integration of voice AI that I was mentioning, and chatbots and just everything else. It's part of the family for helping drive business and explain certain factors for both politics and politic.us and CashFlow Real Estate.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd like to see people adding on to their service catalog with AI. What's possible now it's amazing. Excellent. So we're gonna pause for a second and see if there's any more questions for Carol. And yeah, go ahead, Chijist.
Okay. So thank you so much. It was very exciting, by the way. And I can feel also the energy of the investment community, like the entrepreneurship community as a and I loved it. My question is more on the real estate side. I'm working on something similar. Not similar, completely different approach, and the information also it provides is completely different, but it has some elements into it. So my question is more on, like, since you are a real estate agent, are you using MLS data? Are you accessing their APIs? Or so my question is more like, how are you getting the data, like to compare renters? And when you say 40% return of investment, then how are you calculating that? And to calculate that, I'm sure you need the MLS data, or are you using any other API? Yeah, that's my question first.
So to answer your question, the data sources are proprietary, and the answer is they're proprietary data sources, and that's it. To answer how it's calculated,
you're not gonna tell me.
Yeah, to answer how it's calculated, you just have the money that you used, cash, for the down payment, for the closing cost, but you can get the seller subsidy to cover the closing costs, right? It's part of contract negotiation. It's easy to get 3%, 5% from the seller to cover a lot of certain costs that are going in, and you can prepay condo fees a year ahead and HOA fees and certain items ahead of time. So that's part of having a good real estate agent that can help you negotiate the contract. So basically, we use the money that we spent, and we look at the relationship of that to the yearly positive cash flow that you get in rent. And you can also take into account appreciation and the depreciation benefit for your taxes, because you're writing off taxes. So you could use a certain percentage of that for the total benefit that you are getting from owning that particular real estate asset. So that I hope that answered the question.
Okay. So I have a further question. My next question is, like, how do you measure the accuracy of your data, that the information you are providing? How do you measure that accuracy?
Yeah, I have a guy who is like super genius coder, and he's super math, genius too. And basically, polynomial regression machine learning. And it's about the confidence interval and the AI score that it gives. And basically, you just look at the comps and everything else and just compare it. There could be like error margin $50 to $100 for the rent amount. And there is basically on the back end ability for us to see what the error margins are for a particular calculation on specific house, home, condo, townhome, single family home. It can also be adjusted towards analyzing apartment buildings too, by the way. I just don't have access to the commercial databases because it costs a lot of money. But if somebody is willing to pay, then I can easily do it within a week. The one more thing that I wanted to bring up, because we have an international crowd, is that this can all be done for the international market. So for example, it can be done for Eritrea, Ethiopia, and other countries, as long as you have government connections there. And there is a possibility of turning on the green light for the project in countries other than the United States.
I understand that. Thank you.
Awesome.
Let me give others a chance. I'll be back.
Well, I would say the question that you just asked about data points to that you should sell your API access also, because then she would buy the service and use it in her system, right?
Certainly.
So I think all technology businesses, since I think the internet became a thing, what you end up doing is you're publishing some system on the internet, and that system is taking some of your information and it's giving you other information. And there's a cost to produce that information. That's why people have to charge money for data processing, like Kirill is charging. And that's the thing. I believe between last year and this year, my thought about, people don't want API, has changed, where, for example, like people at Bloomberg that are non-technical analysts want API access because they don't want to go do the data processing themselves. Otherwise, they would have to do it. And it's like, it's easier to just pay somebody for the API and then use it, either ongoing basis. But I feel like whatever data processing you do, it becomes now special. So like Tejas, your startup could be working with Kirill's data and add another layer of value, in the data side that then becomes downstream important to somebody else. And so now you have value from Kirill's company and your company providing value downstream to somebody else. It could be me then using that API. And that is AI automated business. It's API. It's like, that's ultimately what we're going to be selling is API access. So great question, Tejas. Anyone else?
I think Tinius has a good question.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Tinius. Let's see if you want to unmute yourself. Oh, okay, excellent. So what I'm going to be doing is shifting over to a general discussion about finance agentic AI, especially in the open source world. And I made a tool this morning, which I'm going to show to you guys, and the prompts are already on LinkedIn. But and what we'll have is there's about 25 tools where we're going to go through promising ones. We're not going to go through all of them, and you'll notice that the visualization is going to help us make a determination of where to invest time, because a lot of things in life are about making decisions on where to put time. Okay, so
I wanted to add something.
Sure, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that politicians are making $175,000 salary, but Nancy Pelosi is close to $200 million net worth, and she made all the money from stock trading, her and her husband, pillow talk and all this, right? And the husband double outperforms Warren Buffett, and Warren Buffett was the best trader ever, right? And all of that is basically using insider information from being privy to committees and subcommittees that they're sitting on as politicians. And you can piggyback on all of that. And then in terms of futures roadmap, what Politic is going to be doing is that we're going to be fine-tuning a model to train on our data. And most AI models out there, like Anthropic and other big general LLMs, are trained on massive amounts like public data. And they're very good at like general conversations. But if you ask them for investment guidance, they won't give you like truly better or smarter investment suggestion. They just give generic answers based on whatever's already like out there on the internet. And that's exactly where our Politic AI model stands out, like in the future, the way we envision it. Because the problem with these general models is called hallucinations, right? And even when they're trained on correct data, they can still confidently give you wrong, inaccurate information. So what we're going to be doing differently is fine-tuning our model specifically on our own data and using retrieval augmented generation, RAG. In simple terms, this means we're like teaching the model using our proprietary high-quality information and giving it the ability to pull accurate data from our sources in real time. And as a result, Politic will deliver. It delivers now and it will deliver in the future most relevant investment advice with close to zero hallucinations. And again, best of all, it's like much cheaper than AI models because it's only $14.99 a month. And like that feature roadmap is coming very soon. So do create a free account with Politic, Tigist and others, and check it out because it's free to check it out.
Awesome.